Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my predictions for our game against Tottenham. So score prediction, I'm going to go with 2-1 to Manchester United. The goal scorers for us, I'm going to go with Bruno Fernandes and Edison Cavani. And the goal scorer for Tottenham, I'm going to go with Harry Kane. We're coming into this game with a lot of confidence because we recently had a very good win against Granada in the Europa League quarter-final first leg. We beaten them 2-0. 2 away goals and a clean sheet. We are more or less into the Europa League semi-final. That'll be 5 semi-finals under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It was a good performance by Man United against Granada. The goal scorers were Marcus Rashford. He scored the first one. It was a lovely touch and a lovely finish. And it was a lovely long ball from Victor Lindelof. And Bruno Fernandes had scored the second goal from the penalty spot towards the end of the game. Should have actually had more than 2 goals. From a Granada perspective, they'd have been disappointed because it was a poor performance by them. They showed very little going forward. I think their best player was Kennedy. He had a few long-range shots, but there were straightforward saves for De Gea. The best chance Granada had was from Herrera. He hit the post. The disappointing thing is that Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw and Scott McTominay are suspended for the second leg. And we won our last league game against Brighton. We beaten them 2-1. So I can assure that we will finish in the top 4. Very good chance we'll finish second this season. Marcus Rashford should be available for this game today. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did admit that Marcus Rashford is not 100%, but he should be available. Anthony Martial, I think he's out for the remainder of the season. Solskjaer confirmed that not so long ago. Eric Bailly's not available due to COVID and Phil Jones is still out with injury. Luke Shaw recently suffered a minor injury but he should be okay, and Paul Pogba suffered a minor injury. But yeah, this game against Tottenham is a massive game for Manchester United. Obviously, the game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last season was 1-1. You know, Tottenham beat us at Old Trafford earlier on this season, 6-1. Solskjaer did say our 6-1 home defeat to Tottenham hurt our pride. We did beat them at Old Trafford last season 2-1, so Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has beaten Jose Mourinho as Manchester United manager. Jose Mourinho's beaten Solskjaer as Tottenham manager. Tottenham drew their last league game 2-2 with Newcastle. Tottenham are in this top 4 race. There's quite a few teams that are in the top 4 race. Today, Jose Mourinho's going to be reuniting with Manchester United. You know, we did have Jose Mourinho for 2.5 years. He won the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield. He also got a second, I think it was in his first season. So you can say Mourinho did enjoy one good season at Man United. The main explanations it didn't work out when we had Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board, bad disputes with the top players. and in general the board weren't backing the signings that he wanted to recommend in. I'm expecting Tottenham to sack Jose Mourinho at some point. It'll be the right decision if Tottenham sack him, because he has now passed his sell-by date. No, don't get me wrong, Mourinho's got a good pedigree behind him. He's won around 25 major honours in his managerial career. Jose Mourinho has been Tottenham manager for over a year. He's got a contract with them until 2023. To be honest with you, I think Tottenham made a mistake by getting rid of Mauricio Pochettino. Pochettino did a good job at Tottenham despite him not winning anything. You know, Pochettino endured a 5.5-year tenure with Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4. And back in 2019, Pochettino guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. Don't forget, Pochettino was the favourite to take over at Man United. Obviously, this is when Pochettino was managerless and, Solskjaer was under pressure at the time. But Pochettino's totally out of the equation now because he's PSG manager. Jose Mourinho has made quite a few signings as Tottenham manager. Obviously, last year he brought Joe Hart in. He brought Joe Rodon in. He brought Holberg in. He brought Matt Doherty in. Doherty's out with injury at the moment. Also brought Sergio Reguilon in. He's made an impact at Tottenham. Brought Bale in on loan last year. Brought Vinicius in. I think Mourinho also brought Steven Bergwijn in. Brought Giovanni Lo Celso in. I think he brought Gedson Fernandes in. Gedson Fernandes is no longer at Tottenham. I think he also brought Ryan Sessegnon in. Ryan Sessegnon is out on loan at Hoffenheim. So they're the signings Mourinho's made. Tottenham have got some very good players that could cause us problems today. Obviously, Harry Kane, he could cause us problems. Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof have got a job to do at the back. They've got to keep Harry Kane at bay. We've also got to keep Heung-min Son at bay because he's another one of Tottenham's key players. Lucas Moura is one of Tottenham's key players. Dele Alli, he's one of Tottenham's key players. I think Sissoko's quite good. That Vinicius is quite good as well. Danny Rose, I think he's a very good left back for Tottenham. I think it was last season he was out on loan with Newcastle. Toby Alderweireld, he's a very good centre-half. Davinson Sanchez, he's also good. I like Serge Aurier. They got him from PSG, I think, a few years ago, did Tottenham. Ben Davies, he's good. He's actually out with injury. I think Tottenham made a mistake by getting rid of Christian Eriksen. They let him go in January of last year. He went to Inter Milan. He was a long-serving player for Tottenham, Eriksen. He endured 7 years with them. You know the news on Harry Kane. Harry Kane will ask to leave Tottenham if Tottenham fail to qualify for the Champions League. Now, earlier on this season, it said that Harry Kane had dealt Tottenham a major blow because he refused to commit his future to the club, and he said he's delaying his transfer decision until after the Euros. Daniel Levy said a few weeks ago, the Tottenham chairman, that Tottenham will not sell Harry Kane to another Premier League club. We'll have to make an offer of at least 120 million to convince Tottenham to offload him. Harry Kane is regarded as one of the best strikers in the world because he is a prolific goal scorer. His link-up play is good. He's won the Golden Boot a couple of times. He's obviously well proven in the Premier League. He's been a long servant at Tottenham. He's been with them around 17 years. You know, he's under contract with Tottenham until 2024. Back in 2018, he signed a 6-year contract with Tottenham. David Einstein was talking about Kane not so long ago. He said he spoke to quite a few people in football. He says that Harry Kane wants to leave because he's unhappy. He said he's committed to Tottenham whilst he's there, but he wants to win the biggest trophies and he's not experiencing this at Tottenham. He's had a few loan spells before with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. We have had some good games with Tottenham over the years. The two best games I recall was the 5-2 game back in 2009 when we overcome a 2-goal deficit. And the 5-3 game back in 2001, I think it was, when we overcame a 3-goal deficit. And we have done business with Tottenham before. You know, we got Michael Carrick off them a while ago. And we also got Dimitar Berbatov off them. By the way, Jose Mourinho hit back at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for saying winning trophies can be an ego thing. Solskjaer did say that last month. After Tottenham, it is Granada in the Europa League second leg. And then after that, it's Burnley, then it's Leeds, then it's Liverpool. So games are coming up thick and fast for Manchester United. The Europa League is definitely a priority for us. The Europa League is our only chance of winning any silverware this season. Solskjaer has not yet won a trophy as Manchester United manager. And we haven't won a trophy since 2017. And that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. But we know that if we fail to win the Europa League, Solskjaer will not be sacked. So I can assure he will be Man United manager in the summer transfer window. And he'll be Man United manager next season. I did mention that he does deserve another season because Solskjaer has made progress in certain aspects. You know, there is a lot of Manchester United fans that are demanding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of the club. They've obviously got main explanations why they want him out of the club, but there again, there's still some Man United fans that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in and believe he needs more time. I can assure you isn't the long-term manager for Man United. Solskjaer's already agreed a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. A lot of United fans disagree with us giving him this new contract. Does he deserve a new contract? In some aspects, yeah. In some aspects, no. I'm expecting Man United to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window. Recent reports said that Man United will spend big in the summer transfer window, but Solskjaer said he wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. I've identified the areas where Man United need to strengthen up. I think we need a striker, we need a right winger, we need a centre-half, and we also need a defensive midfielder. Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that we may not do business as usual due to the pandemic. Solskjaer should get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window because obviously Woodward's standing by him and Woodward believes that Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward, and he released a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, Woodward is backing him, and Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Ollie, even when was enduring them really bad periods. And obviously we've got John Murtough, he's our director of football. The club made the right decision by getting a director of football in, because I did mention that's one of the structural changes that we needed. And John Murtough is our first ever director of football, and he knows the club through thick and thin. And obviously Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director, and he knows the club through thick and thin as well, because he endured 2 decades as a player for Man United. Solskjaer's already discussed our transfer plans with the summer with our recruitment team. There's a lot of players that Man United are looking at. Now, I just want to give you some news on Pau Torres from Villarreal. So, we've been handed a boost in our transfer pursuit of Pau Torres, because it says we can sign Pau Torres for less than his 56 million release clause this summer. Villarreal are willing to accept around 43 million. Pau Torres has got a contract with Villarreal until 2024. He's been at Villarreal a very, very long time. He's 24 years of age. He did have a loan spell with Malaga. Do you think he'd go well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line? It said recently that Solskjaer had drawn up a 6-man centre-back shortlist. It says the first 4 names are Jules Koundé from Sevilla, Rafael Varane from Real Madrid, I think it mentioned Pau Torres from Villarreal, and there's someone else as well. Try to remember who it is. No, can't remember the other name, but yeah, it did name the first 4. But yeah, there has been a lot of narratives coming out regarding Jules Koundé from Sevilla. It said not so long ago that Sevilla had slapped a 68 million price tag on Jules Koundé. Fabrizio Romano was talking about it, and he said Sevilla's £68 million asking price is complicating a deal, but he did mention, Romano, that Jules Koundé is one of the most appreciated players on Man United's radar. Now, it said a few weeks ago that we'd been handed a boost in our bid to sign Jules Koundé, because it said Sevilla had reduced their asking price to £50 million. He said earlier on this season we was not willing to meet his £68 million release clause, but he said we was prepared to pay around 61 million. Jules Koundé's performances for Sevilla have been outstanding. You know, he's under contract with Sevilla till 2024. Sevilla paid £22 million for him from Bordeaux in the summer of 2019. I'd love him to go alongside Maguire in our back line. Rafael Varane, there's still a lot of narratives coming out about him. Now, it said quite a few weeks ago that Real Madrid have set their asking price for Rafael Varane. It's between 51 to 59 million. That's cheap for Rafael Varane. The Spanish transfer expert Eduardo Inda said that Rafael Varane could be on his way to Man United in the summer transfer window, because contract talks with Real Madrid have stalled. Varane has been at Real Madrid for around 10 years. He's won 18 major honours. He's made over 300 appearances. Real Madrid paid just €10 million for him from Lens back in 2011. He's under contract with Real Madrid until 2022. He'd certainly complement Harry Maguire in our back line. He really, really would. Just get this. Check me back around here. And you already know the news on Erling Haaland. You know the news on Jadon Sancho. You know the news on Ousmane Dembele. But yeah, in the summer transfer window, we're going to focus on the incomings and the outgoings. A few players are going to leave Man United in the summer transfer window. It looks very likely that Edison Cavani is going to be leaving. Solskjaer did say in his press conference building up to this game against Tottenham that he's unsure over Cavani's future. Footballer Insider have already said that Cavani is willing to take a pay cut to join Boca Juniors. He has a verbal agreement with them, and Boca Juniors are preparing to offer him a 3-year contract. Marcus Rojo, who's a former Man United player, he's held conversations with Edison Cavani over a move to Boca Juniors. Rojo urged Edison Cavani to leave Man United for Boca Juniors. He's promised he'll take him fishing. Now, not so long ago, we held talks with Cavani over his future at the club, and we want to convince him to stay at Manchester United. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer said he's hopeful that Cavani will stay, and he revealed that we had been in contract negotiations with Cavani. But prior to that, Solskjaer made an admission saying that Cavani is closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Man United. Edison Cavani's father said earlier on this season that Cavani is unhappy. He's not comfortable in England and he wants to leave. And prior to that, reports from Argentina said that Cavani's decided to leave Man United after one season. I think he's made an impact since he's come in. But his hold-up play's been good. He's scored goals, he's created chances, his movement and that's been good. But there's been some games where he hasn't got enough service and he's looked isolated. You know, we got him on a free transfer last summer, signed a 1-year contract with an option of a second year. You know, Cavani's current contract expires at the end of the season. A lot of United fans are saying that we need to sell Anthony Martial. You know, Anthony Martial has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. The chances have been there for him, but he hasn't converted them. Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that he's been impressed with Martial's work rate and he's backing him to rediscover his form. Martial's out with injury, like I said, he's probably going to be out for the remainder of the season. I reckon Martial's had 2 good seasons at Man United. He was good last season and he was good in his debut season under Van Gaal. He's been at the club now over 5 years. We give Martial, I think, that number 9 shirt last season. I reckon we'll get around 30 million for him if we decide to sell him in the summer transfer window. Juan Mata, I'm expecting us to offload him because he doesn't get in our 11. Towards the start of this season, Juan Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Juan Mata's current contract expires in June, but we do have an option to trigger his contract for a further year. I reckon he's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club almost 7 years. We got him in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. Donny van der Beek could part way in the summer. I think we need to offload Donny van der Beek. The main reason is because he's not getting enough opportunities at Manchester United. If he was getting enough opportunities, I'd say keep him because he is a good player. You know, he's versatile, he can play in 3 different roles. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Ajax last summer. Now, we have been considering a Donny van de Beek swap deal. You know, there's been talks of a Donny van de Beek and Adrian Rabiot swap deal. He was out of injury at one point though for a while. Ronald de Boer recently backed Donny van de Beek to be a success at Old Trafford. And he said he still feels loved at the club despite his lack of game time. Earlier on this season, Van de Beek said he wanted to quit Man United after one season due to his lack of game time. He's only started 2 games in the league this season, so most of his appearances when he's been involved have come from the bench, surprisingly. Matic, I think, will offload him in the summer transfer window because he's not one of our first choice midfielders. Paul Pogba, he could still leave in the summer transfer window. He says our players will be devastated if we decide to sell Pogba in the summer transfer window. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said not so long ago that Paul Pogba's future lies at Man United. So could we offer him a new contract? Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's in the contract with the club until June 2022. He has had a long-running transfer saga as Pogba. Barcelona have been in for him. He's actually mentioned the 4 Barcelona players we could accept in a Pogba swap deal. Madrid, I think, are still in for him. They could offload a few of their players to try and get Pogba. There's been a lot of narratives of him possibly going back to Juventus. PSG have been in for him as well. I'd like him to stay potentially past the summer because he brings creativity to the team. I prefer Paul Pogba in more of an advanced role because that's where he's more effective. I'm not too keen on him in a deeper role. Phil Jones, I also want him to leave as well because he doesn't get in our 11 and he's always been inconsistent. He's the only outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era, and this is Jones' 10th season at Man United, so he's been a long servant. Axel Tuanzebe, will we offload him because he doesn't get in our 11? David De Gea, he could leave in the summer transfer window. There's quite a few United fans that think it would be a mistake to let De Gea go. But to be honest with you, I reckon now that De Gea's had his years at Manchester United. This is his 10th season, is it, at the football club, and he's been at the club around 10 years now. I reckon De Gea's had around 8 good years out of the 10 years he's been at Man United, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he's made. But a few years ago, he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world, because De Gea has won everything domestically at the club. Now, there's recent reports saying that De Gea may leave on loan. Not so long ago, it said that De Gea had made his transfer decision. He's preparing to leave Manchester United, and it said we're set to pay off his huge contract. Now, we've set our price for De Gea. It's 50 million, and there's a few clubs that are chasing him. Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, PSG and AC Milan. De Gea has 2 years left on his current contract and he's on £375,000 a week. I said there's a very good chance he'll go back to Spain. And Diego Dalot, I think we'll be looking to get rid of him permanently as well. He's out on loan with AC Milan at the moment. But like I've already mentioned, there's a lot of players that will stay at Man United in the summer transfer window, and I reckon there's a few players that have got long-term futures at the club. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does deserve credit in quite a lot of aspects. We are second in the Premier League. We've been good away from home in the Premier League. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We was 14 games unbeaten before the 3-1 defeat to Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final. We've enjoyed good periods under Ole where we have seen consistency, and in some of them good periods he's got the best out of the team. Solskjaer, got us to the FA Cup quarter-final. You know, more or less he's got us to the Europa League semi-final, got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season, lost 2-0 to City. Did well last season in his first full season, guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League and got us a 3rd place finish, the second highest we've finished since Ferguson. You know, Ollie has made some good signings since he got appointed in as Man United manager. He's spent almost £300 million and so far he's enjoyed 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. He's got rid of a lot of the dead wood since he's come in. I like the way he has promoted the youth. Reflecting how long Solskjaer's been at the club, you know, he's gained some managerial experience, he's learnt quite a bit on the job, he's tried a few different elements and that. You know, he's been Man United manager now over 2 years. We appointed him in December 2018 and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. But he is our best manager since Ferguson. So anyway guys, I'll be on for the match reaction later on. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.